Hello, everyone. This is Jennifer. I'm here today to interview Mr. Ed. He's here to talk to us about his book, Heaven Is.
Recuerda que tus likes nos ayudan a crecer. Suscríbete y no te olvides de activar la campana de notificación para así estar al tanto de todo cuanto ocurre en este canal.
Yes, and this is where I wanted to go and shake their hands and stuff, and then go home to my home. Yeah. I'll keep.
You know where I live.
You know where I live. I'll be there. But that didn't happen. No, the angel grabbed me by the collar and said, "Okay, Ed, enough time, and we have to take you back home to Earth." So that sort of ended my
journey
visit. Yes, we did stop. I had no recollection of going back through the skin, the gold skin of the sphere of heaven.
Yeah.
But we did stop at the Mountain of Stars, and I got one last gaze of this place. It's big, it's beautiful. There was lightning strikes all over the place.
That must have been amazing.
They were, and they were different colors, and they kind of bzzz all over the place. I didn't hear anything. I was just making
you
that.
Felt like an energy, or no? You didn't feel anything coming from there?
No, I didn't feel any kind of that electrical energy, if you will.
Yeah.
Like I can here with the radio station. You can
exactly.
If you touch the wrong wire at the right time,
like
your finger gets cooked inside.
Exactly.
So it's not that kind of. It was just bands of lightning.
That's amazing.
Bands of lightning that would shoot around the outside, and they tempered the coloring of the golden sphere. It was just amazing. I mean, just awfully amazing. And then the next thing, he turns me off. I say that because the angel turned me off to get to the Mountain of Stars, and then he turned me back on, if you will, opened my eyes,
exactly.
And I was able
That's
to see the.
Putting it.
Got to see the last of heaven, and then he shuts my eyes, and the next thing I see, I experience, is waking up in bed, and I'm going. I'm taking huge breaths, and this, I don't know, it just. I stayed awake for the rest of the night.
I wouldn't blame you. I would be like pinching myself, like, wait, did this happen? Was I dreaming? I would wake up my wife, like, honey, was I here all this time?
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of the, and I went to work that day. I should have.
Having a moment right now. I can't come to work.
I should have, but you see, I worked for the Army National Guard.
Oh wow!
And, so at that time, and what was interesting is that right across from the parking lot where we parked our cars to go to work was a library, and that's where I spent about 4 days or so writing, scribbling all that I saw.
I know, because you don't want to forget anything.
No. And I typed it up on the old computer that I wanted to write this story on, printed it out, and gave a couple copies to friends and relatives. And well, what'd you think of it, huh, John? What'd you think of it?
And what did they think? Did they think it was one of your fictional stories?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
I'm sure they did.
I tried my best to tell them that this really happened, and sure.
Do they believe you to this day, or are they skeptical?
To this day, maybe they're still skeptical. I don't know. They're all back in California. I do have a brother-in-law that I think he thinks that I really did, but it's like It's like you can't prove it.
It's true. You can't.
You
It's your
can't.
word. And that's it.
It's my word. There's nobody to collaborate.
Exactly.
I can't call up somebody and say, hey, look, help me out in demonstrating that what I saw, what I
It's
heard
true. Exactly.
is true.
That's
And
true. That's true.
maybe only when Jesus comes back, he can
Exactly.
he can
He'll be your
he can
witness.
he can hold me up, like a little bottle of
I know.
hand cream, and say, this guy visited heaven before I ever came. I don't know.
Exactly. And what did your wife believe you when you told her at first, or
I
was she?
believe, yeah, she believes. Yeah, she knows, and I've told her before. I've related this whole thing. I
Yeah.
even did that to my two boys. They were old. I had a daughter that was really young, but she listened. But I explained to them like I'm explaining to you, without reading anything.
Exactly. Without a script.
Without a script, step
Exactly.
by step by step by step, how it happened. And I've done this with several churches out here. I've gone in, and people say, well, after I finish, they'll say, well, that was just a dream. I said, well, it was a pretty real dream.
Exactly.
And
I lived it.
yeah, and some of them have said, well, maybe it was just something in your head that you thought of, and I said, well, regardless, I experienced
Exactly.
the warmth of heaven. I don't think you really think that you feel heat in a dream. I don't know. I've never experienced heat in a dream, and I've never experienced the realism that was accompanied with what I saw and heard. I sniffed the air. I drank the water.
Exactly. How was the water? Was it better than this one?
I
Better than
can't
ours?
I think it was. I don't remember. It could have been, but when I talked underwater, I don't remember any water going into my mouth.
But isn't that amazing? You're like, wow. Because here, like you said, you're a great swimmer, and I'm pretty sure water, even with being a great swimmer, it has gone inside.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. You don't. You dive in, and as you're diving in, you take
Exactly.
a big lung full of air and hold your breath while you're underwater. You don't. As you're underwater, you expel the air that you sucked in. Yeah. But talking with the angel underwater in the water of life, I was able to talk to him, and I don't know what we said. That was the awful thing about that.
Yeah.
I don't know what we said. In fact, I prayed to God. I got down and on my knees, and then I laid on my belly. It's called being prone. You're just laying on the ground on your belly. And I remember doing that. And today I can't even tell you what I said or what I heard from God. So whatever it was, I hope God remembers it.
I'm sure he will. Trust me. He knows. He knows everything. But do you think that angel was like a guardian angel specifically? Like, do you believe that we have guardian angels, or you think that was just an angel that God said, "Hey, Ed was praying about this. Let's make his life fun."
Well, yeah, exactly. I think we have guardian angels. It doesn't really say so in the Bible.
No, it doesn't. But it really doesn't.
But they watch over us. Yeah. And well, okay. I said that I've had an angel unawares several times.
Yeah, you did mention that earlier.
I mentioned. Well, it's been about a month ago. We needed. I thought we needed a window to be replaced in our house, and I called business. It's called Window World. So I called them up and I said,
Yeah.
I'd like you to send a sales guy down here and tell us, measure and tell us about how much we're going to spend on a new window because the glass is all messed up on it. Well, they said, okay, he'll be there Tuesday, I think it was. So my wife comes to me. I'm busy on the computer writing, and she says, "Did you call a plumber?" And I said, No, we called the window person.
Exactly.
Yeah. So she says, well, he's here. It's 9:00 like they said he'd be, 9:00, and he's here, but he's in a car that says somebody's plumbing. And I thought, this ought to be interesting.
You're like, wait, I call for a window person and a plumber's coming?
Yes,
Okay,
exactly. So I go out and shake hands and I say, my name's Ed, and he says his name is Frank. All right. And he says, what's the deal here? And I showed him the window. It's all clouded. And he looks at it and he messes with it a little bit. And he says, well, Mr. Gaulden, he says, do you have any a glass stovetop? If you do, you probably have some cleaner for it. And I said, well, yeah, we do have a glass. This is the very first one we've ever owned. So I go in and I ask the wife, do you have any cleaner for the oven top? And she said, oh yeah, it's all down here. So I brought a bottle of it out, and he says, now I need some paper towels.
Wow.
So I go back inside for some paper towels, and I come back out and he pours some on this, and he rubs and rubs and rubs and rubs and rubs and rubs and rubs. And it's all clean. And he says, I just saved you $1,200 because that's how much this window would cost to take out the old one and put in a new one.
Exactly.
And I said, well, Frank, do I owe you anything? And he says, no, not a thing.
Wow.
And with that, he just, I'll see you later, and turned around and drove away in his plumber's car.
That's very interesting.
And I think I have to, I don't know.
Yeah, it was out of the normal. It's not normal. That's not a normal encounter.
Exactly.
Or experience.
It was not normal to have. It's like wanting a painter to come to your house, but a roof repairer comes and he says, well, you've got some leaks.
Exactly.
So I just thanked God. That's all. I said to God, I said, Lord, thank you very much for sending that angel. I mean, I didn't know. Still don't know if he was an angel unawares
or not. Exactly.
But I told him, thank you very much, because the bottom line is that I got saved $1,200.
Talk about it. Yes. You don't want to be spending $12,000.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to spend that at all. So he didn't even want any money for his gas or anything.
Yeah, he was a nice person that came and helped you.
He was a nice person, all right. Yeah, he was a nice person.
He came out of nowhere, like you said. It's not like you were waiting for a plumber. How he's gonna know where you live and that doesn't sound normal to me.
Yeah, well, that was my last angel unaware story.
Well, why do you think God chooses you? Do you think why do you think God chooses you? Is there like I know in the book you said God does what he does, and we don't know why he does what he does. So do you think there's a special reason that he chooses you? Do you think it's because of your belief, your heart to receive him, and not blocked by technology or anything that can block the blessings of the Lord?
Good question, Jennifer. I've often wondered, why me? Because I'm nobody special. Even all of the times that I've tried to become boss at a place. Oh, no, we'll pick Jimmy. He's been here, and he stands 6.5 feet tall. I'm a short guy. I'm like 5'3". And then nobody wants a short guy around. So, it's going to heaven allowed me to logically think there is, number one, a God that cares.
Exactly.
Number two, there is a God that answers prayer. Now you add those two together, and that means faith.
That's
okay?
true.
And when people buy my book, Heaven Is, I pray for them every night. I can see the numbers on Amazon. Oh, 3 people bought the book today. Oh, 1 person bought it yesterday. Before I go to bed every night, I pray in 3 different terms of reading the book. You're going to have a curious Christian like yourself.
Yes.
You were curious.
Yeah, I was the curious one.
See? Okay. Then there's the backslider. I ask God to have them turn away from their wicked ways and
Amen.
return to Him. And then there's the unsaved person. And I especially ask them to, as they read the book, that they will also grab a Bible and try to follow along in the scriptures that I provided along with the Bible, so they get the whole thing. I mean,
exactly. Exactly.
Just you sometimes read a verse and you think, oh, is that the whole story of this verse, or what comes before and after that?
Exactly.
So that's why, I and that's how I pray for that book every day. And I can see the numbers every single day when somebody buys the book. And it's really very, very interesting, and I don't know.
Thank you for reading it and sharing your experience.
Yeah, that was the whole I didn't think it would sell at all. I mean, it's about heaven. A lot of people don't like talking about God, but in private, I think in private, they will download that book.
Yes.
And they will read it on the sly.
Exactly.
They'll keep it from their wife, their husband,
exactly.
their kids. They'll read it during lunchtime at work.
That was me. I was like, wait, I want to know more. I want to know what else is saying.
See?
I was very curious. I'm like, did you really say because like I told you earlier, I was always skeptical. Like, did those people really do that? Because, people are sometimes going to lie about stuff. And then until you live your own experience, you're not going to believe them. So I'm like, are those outer body experiences real? And then I'm always praying like, Lord, let me have this, let me have that. And then He never gives me anything. So I'm like, I don't think it's true.
Well, I know I have prayed also to win the lottery.
Me too.
You see? But
I haven't won nothing.
But neither have I. Neither have I. And what I think it does is I think it teaches us faith in trusting God.
Amen. Yes.
To just do our thing down here on earth. That is, go to work and earn your money that way.
Exactly. And not live on a dream and a fantasy.
Yeah. And
He knows that money can be, it depends. Your heart can get dark and
Exactly.
the root of evil is the love of money. So He knows we can go sour real quick, like you say.
Exactly. Well, I figure, okay, so I I win $50 million or something.
Yes.
I don't need to pray to God anymore. You see, I can go out. I don't have to pray for the right car to come across to me. I can just go down to the Mercedes-Benz place and buy 2 or 3 of them. You see, so I can see why He sometimes doesn't answer prayers, and that's one of the prayers He never answers. Makes you grouchy inside, but
that was my next question to you. I'm like, what do you think sometimes that people don't believe because certain prayers don't get answered and then others do? It's like, why? I wonder why God decides this one is answered, this one is not answered, that one this, and it's like, okay.
I have everybody, every Christian has had that problem.
Yes.
Why doesn't God answer some prayer? And it's either He will later on,
Yeah.
maybe not even in this lifetime will He answer that prayer, but maybe you know. During the millennium, the 1,000-year millennium. Oh, that's how you're going to answer the prayer.
Exactly. Yeah, because we don't know.
You don't know. You don't know only God knows what the future is. And so now I've prayed to go back to heaven to see that mansion, to walk around in it.
A little bit, even if it's for an hour.
For an hour. I want to see where the bathroom is, the kitchen.
Exactly.
How about the basement? Does it have cable outlets?
Food.
The food. Yeah.
What?
Does it have electricity, or how's it work? And what's my neighbor going to be like?
Exactly. Well, that's true. It's true. Will it be? Well, she's not gonna be your wife in heaven, but you'll be like, hey, would it be my wife that was on earth? Who would it be?
Exactly. So but He's never answered that, and He has said. Now I've heard Him say that once was sufficient for me. So going to heaven, so once was sufficient, and that's where He stops.
Yeah.
For going back to heaven while I'm still active here on earth. So that's, yeah.
And what would be your final message that you would want people to get from the whole experience that you have? Like, what gives you more faith? Was it the experience, or because you knew Jesus at an early age? What would you say?
I would say it's because, and I pointed it out before, is that one, I know that prayers are answered, even after being in heaven and 30 years away from that point of being in heaven, and 30 years today, he will answer prayer. I see it all the time.
Amen.
And so I've studied faith, and apparently it starts off as a little mustard seed. Can you see that?
Exactly how He said it in the Word.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you can grow that mustard seed into a mustard tree. I don't know what it grows into, but it just grows. And so if that's faith, then my level of faith has gone up. So when I pray, I ask, God, what is your will for me? I stopped long ago asking for the lottery.
No more lottery for you.
No more lottery.
You advising me to quit too?
Yes, just
That was my dream every day. I'm like, Lord, let me win at least $2 million. I'll retire back to Dominican Republic and I'll be fine.
Yes, of course. But He wants you right where you are.
Exactly.
You see?
That's where He wants me. It's true.
So, yeah. So, we have good electricity here and a decent cable system to talk. So, I've lost the train of the thought. Oh,
it's
faith,
okay.
faith,
Don't
faith,
worry
faith,
about
faith,
it.
Faith, praying and having my faith grow because of answered prayers. That's been pretty big. And then the other thing is that God forgave my sin once and once for all. And I think that once for all statement also applies to the Christian who just becomes a Christian, and all of the sin from this point was forgiven. But God knows our heart. He knows the future. He knows the future, and He knows you're going to take 10 steps forward, and all of a sudden you're going to want something.
Yep, that's me.
I want a new mouse. Okay,
exactly.
But I don't have the money, so maybe it's easier to steal the mouse, you see. So right there, you've sinned by saying to yourself, I wonder how I can get it out of the store. you see. So,
Exactly.
you know, one thing leads to another, and before you know it, you got the thing under your pocket.
And that he takes like even stealing. You don't think that he takes like certain sins more serious than others?
I think he takes all sin equally. Like he loves. That's something else. He loves everybody, including the sinners.
Yes.
He loves us as Christians, as children, as his children, as his church.
Exactly.
But he also loves those that aren't. I don't know how he does that, you know.
Yeah,
but
that's my question too. I'm like, how can he do that?
But he's God and we're not.
Exactly.
We're just a finite person that's you're there and I'm here, and the only reason why I can see you is that you're coming through in dots and dashes, and it's being made up. But he can see the whole universe tomorrow.
Exactly, and the whole picture, like you.
And the whole picture. So he knows that every Christian is going to fall or trip for something.
Me.
You see. Yeah. And I do the same thing. I mean, sometimes I see a neighbor that I don't really care for, and I think, hope your car breaks down.
I know. See? So thank you. I'm glad that you said that, because that happens to me, and I'm like, oh, this person at work did X, Y, and Z. Oh, I hope they do this. Oh, good for them. I'll be like, good for them. And then I'm like, oh Lord, please forgive me. I'm sorry for saying this.
Yeah. So it happens, and everybody, every Christian is going to sin, whether they like it or not, because it's our sin nature built in, and we're hardwired for this sin, and you know, it'll happen. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Thank you, Ed. I feel like I took all this time away from you, but I want to say I'm really grateful that you took the time tonight to answer my questions, and of all the viewers that are going to watch this interview of you and I, thank you so much. And what's your final message for them?
Well, I'd say if you want to go to heaven, you need the ABCs of salvation, okay? I wrote them down today so I wouldn't forget them, and I have forgotten them. Ask to be admit. No. A is for admit to God that you're a sinner. B is for I can't. I just
maybe believe.
Believe. Thank you very much, Jennifer. And then C is something else, but you've got your best bet is to be a Christian and ask God to forgive you and have him come into your heart and live there.
Amen.
It'll be in these days when you have tyrants, ask God to forgive you. And ask Jesus in his heart, into your heart. And in these days of political uprising, if you will, you will find a peace that passes all understanding. Non-Christians cannot understand how you can smile at what's happening. All of what is happening around the world is prophetic anyway. We're getting ready to have the rapture eventually, very soon. And,
yes, I'm waiting for that.
Me too. But it's that kind of peace that God gives the human soul that comes to him that an unsaved person cannot understand.
Yeah, they find that ridiculous sometimes. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So that's my final, more or less final. I suppose I could continue blathering on, but
Thank you again so much for your time and for telling us your beautiful story. I hope that many people can come to believe.
I hope so.
That they're the skeptical, we can bring them in and believe your story and not say, oh, it was just a dream. That didn't really happen to him, but you know it happened to you. So that's the most important thing. And like you said earlier, only Jesus can verify it. We just have to hear you and trust your word, and that's it.
Exactly. Yes.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Ed.
All right, Jennifer.
Thank you, everyone. Please subscribe and listen to the message and listen to our audio here. And comment if you have any comments. Send us any questions that you may have, and I will try to answer them. Thank you, Ed.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm going to turn this off.
Recuerda que tus likes nos ayudan a crecer. Suscríbete y no te olvides de activar la campana de notificación para así estar al tanto de todo cuanto ocurre en este canal.